In relation to a legislative party means a member of the party chosen
Yes.
by it as its
Yes,
leader.
by the party, according to us, here means that it's the MLAs who get together and elect leader.
Not
My lord,
the party means chosen by
Manoj,
it
please
means
see.
by the political
No,
party.
Manoj, please see what 2G says.
And the word which says and includes, that makes it even more clear.
Manoj, may I?
And includes, just read and includes.
Yes.
And including.
I'll just read that. For a minute, just have 2G for a minute. Just a minute, just have 2G for a minute. 2G, member means a member of the Legislative Assembly. Member means a member of the Legislative Assembly.
Right, has to be.
Then leader in relation to legislature party means a member of the party chosen by it as its leader. Manoj, it's the elected legislatures who choose a leader of the legislature party. Why learned friend is trying to say that somewhere else?
But leader, definition of leader.
Leader, Manoj, there is no, I don't think there's any. Yes, leader in relation to a legislature party means a member of the party chosen by as its leader and includes any other member. Any other member is a member of the legislature party of the party authorized by the party to act in the absence of the leader. Now, just for a minute for the completeness, just have rule 3, subclause 5 for a minute. Just for a minute, my lords.
Definition of leader is 2F.
I read that.
3-5. Okay.
Yeah.
3-5. Where a member belonging to a political party, any political party, votes or abstains from voting in the assembly, contrary to any direction issued by such political party or by any person or authority authorized by it in this behalf, without obtaining in either case the prior permission of such political party, person or authority, the leader of the legislature party concerned, or where such member is the leader or as the case may be the sole member of such legislature party, such member shall, as soon as may be thereafter, and in any case within 30 days from the date of such voting or abstentions, inform the speaker as in form 2 whether such voting abstention has or has not been condoned by such political party, person or authority. Malad's leader is always by the elected members of the legislature party. When is a leader is always, for instance, the MPs get together, the MLAs get together to appoint the leader.
We'll consider that.
Anyway,
As was done in 2019, and then what is important for your lordships to know is...
So according to the party means the legislature party.
Yes, and why I am saying so is, my lords, everyone understood it to mean so because that was the party convention right through. That was a question, my lord, the Chief Justice put in the initial rounds of arguments, that there has been a convention because those letters were shown. They've also understood it to mean the same thing. This is now an argument being made to somehow get out of it. That's all that I wanted to say, my lords.
The leader conventionally in every party is elected by the elected members of the legislature, whether in parliament or not imposed by the party. Party means the political party. That's the only interpretation which is in tune with the democratic principles. That you have the electorate voters, they elect MLAs, MLAs elect their leader, and the leader is responsible to the House and consequently to the voters. Because Constitution does not talk of political party at all.
I hope they leave something for the written note with us.
My lord, lastly, I'll just end by saying my learned friend had also argued that the letter contained no reasons for removal of the speaker. When my lord Justice Kohli put to them that where is that letter, read that out. Now, my lords, one thing which has to be kept in mind is we are not dealing with a notice under disciplinary proceeding where someone should be given details of what is the case that he has to meet. The words used are for removal of someone. You categorically in detail para says you've lost the majority of the House. That's what Nabam said, that if you have confidence of winning the confidence, go and face it. Win the confidence.
All right. Yes, Dr. Singhvi.
Yes, my lord, that's all that I wanted to say. I'm very grateful, my lord, for this indulgence given by you.
Now, let's some of it my learned friend will answer, Malas. At the end, that will take us 10-15 minutes. He'll cover that. But let me, Malas, come to my first. Let me stick to my sequence. Just an aside, Malas. All that was done in the last 10 minutes was reference to everything but the whip. The only issue relevant is whip. Your lordship would be asked to turn parliamentary and party-based democracy on its head if you were told that whip is not issued by the political party. What your lordship has shown just now is totally irrelevant and red herring because it is intimating to the speaker and the house that in this house, my leader is so and so. That is a communication between those in the house communicating with the speaker. Speaker has to know whom to communicate with. It is no communication of the party with its members. That's the whip. And that the party issues, the party decides. But that follows apart. We'll come to those rules. So this is completely irrelevant. It cannot be anybody's case that in the context of a whip, the party, the political party is to be ignored and the legislative party is to be looked at. Now, but leave that aside. Let me go in my own sequence first. I'll come to that. Well, your lordships ended before lunch. Mr. Sibal finished with a flourish about democracy. Let me just start with that. Now, the first submission, and I'm not going to follow this sequence. Allow me to oralize. My first of my 8 facets is something which is repeatedly fallen from your lordships, and yesterday it fell directly from my Lord Justice Narasimha. That your lordship is concerned about democracy, majority becoming less, or your lordship used the word overwhelming numbers going this way or that way. This connects with that. Mr. Sibal answered in one way. I'm now giving your lordship a different facet. Because my submission is that your lordship has to go back to the origins of the 10th schedule. And first point under this head is that the 10th schedule has 2 components, not only one. One is a prohibitory negative code. It's a negative code. So a negative code is what you should not do. Violate, whip, voluntary resignation, cohabiting with other people, etc. But there is also an affirmative, positive part of that code. And what the 10th schedule does is to strike a balance between the negative and the positive by a constitutional amendment. It is my respectful submission that it is vital for your lordships to give effect to both negative and positive in letter and spirit. Because your lordship is actually implementing the constitution. And some of the arguments of the other side have bordered on suggesting that I'm using the word mere advisedly in comparison to a constitutional text. A mere symbols order will be competing with a constitutional text. That would be completely anathema to all known principles. What are these 2 codes, The negative code is that you, in a nutshell, I'm just saying, in a nutshell, I'm oversimplifying. You will not voluntarily give up membership to an A and you will not violate whips to one B. Just in a broad summary. What is the affirmative permissible activity? You are entitled to dissent only within that permissible zone. Otherwise, why enact the 10th schedule? Prior to 85, you didn't have the 10th schedule. You had Jungle Raj, which you called Ayaram Gayaram sometimes, but then you can also justify that in the name of free speech, free action. What you did here was you allowed a zone of activity, permissible, affirmative, but you cannot say that I will go beyond that permissible and thereby violate indirectly the negative code also. What is that permissible activity? The affirmative code of conduct. One is a faction or a split till the 91st Amendment. They gave you an escape route, advisedly, consciously. That has gone. It was there. So the Constitution famous thought that along with a negative code of conduct, so as not to stifle you completely, we give you an escape route, exit route of faction or 1/3 or whatever it was called. Second, merger. Third, and this is actually the most important part of 10th schedule. Elections, barring a few cases, in the days of 1960s, etc., there used to be a very strong, large number of independents. Independents have now dwindled. The statistics show. Even then, in terms of 545 Lok Sabha, you had hardly 30, 40. But independents commanded a coordination. My father also got into Lok Sabha on an independent party-less ticket. So I know that time it was Mr. Nath Pai, so many people. But today, even then, party democracy everything was based on party. You got a ticket and you fought and you won because the party projected you as its candidate. That is now much, much truer. after the 60s, 70s onwards. Today, Malas, the number of independents compared to the 60s would be Malas a fraction. So it's party-based democracy. You like it or not, Malas, it's not for anybody to question. We've chosen it, but there's nothing perfect. Some people say US is better, some people say European, but this is what we've chosen. And now, this third balance.
Third point is what? What is the
So
point?
one is, Malas,
Split is permissible, merger
second
is
is merger.
permissible.
Third now.
That's the third point.
Third comes with the light of what I said just now. The whole idea of the 10th schedule is resign and recontest. That's what is stopping you from doing. You enter the door through this door and then you retain your ministership and seat while exiting through the other door. Sorry, not permissible. Resign, have the courage of your... Now, you are a very vocal freedom speaker. You have the courage of your conviction.
Which Justice Jeevan Reddy referred to in that extract.
I'll be dealing with some of
It
that.
was not in the context of the 10th schedule.
But I'll be dealing with that. Some judgments have referred to it. I'm going to suggest, because this is the core question my Lord Narasimha asked, my Lords asked earlier. What do we do when an overwhelming set of people want to express dissent? 9 tenths, let's say 9 out of 10. Let's take an extreme example. How do we balance and countervail these two competing balances? The 10th schedule says you can go thus far in balancing, not further. Whereas if you are so much for free speech, courage of your convictions, this is a rotten party, I can't say, resign and contest. Recontest, what is the problem? Then the fourth is the exemptions. Apart from merger, there's the exemption clause, condonation, whatever. All that is given there. Now what we have to see is that if a constitutional amendment balances the prohibitory with the affirmative part, you cannot find an excuse to circumvent the prohibitory part by going beyond the 4 avenues of the affirmative part, now only 3. Fraction is gone.